Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And today we're doing a blind flight between these 5 bourbons right here. Beautiful bottles, often given as gifts, a little more on the pricey side. Which one is the smoothest sipper and which one do we prefer?
Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer. Before we begin today's episode, we want to give a real quick shout-out to one of our first patrons, Brian Cusco.
Brian is an awesome guy. He also has his own WhiskeyTube channel along with his buddy Matt, Whiskey Wimps. That is in the description below. Be sure to check that out. He's also got quite a few other YouTube channels. He's super positive, super encouraging, all about the community. Awesome guy. Super happy to have him on board.
Thanks, Brian.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you.
For our main topic today, we're talking about 5 whiskeys that a lot of people give as gifts. They're kind of at that price point that falls just a little bit above what most people spend on themselves if they're not a whiskey nerd.
Yeah.
And they all have beautiful bottles. That's why they make good gifts. And most people who are just getting into whiskey, if you ask them the main attribute that they're looking for in whiskey, they say that they want smooth whiskey. So we thought it would be really interesting to put together this flight.
Yep.
We know what 5 whiskeys are in it, but we don't know which one is the smoothest. So we're not necessarily tasting for personal preference. We're tasting to see which one is the smoothest. We will also tell you what our personal preference is because we may not like the smoothest thing, but you're gonna get both. This is like a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
This is a BOGO.
It's a BOGO.
It's a BOGO.
Love a good BOGO.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing today. But before we get into that, Erin, how are you doing?
I'm good. I am a little bit sore because I started working out again after a very long hiatus. But all I got to say is you better pre-order your tickets to the gun show because
You did not just say that.
it's coming. Oh, yeah.
The guns are coming?
The guns are coming.
All right.
It's coming.
Do you have a permit for them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
I've
already applied for the permit.
Okay.
So it's
Wow.
good.
You really do your homework.
I do.
You're on top of it.
I'm thorough.
Yeah, you are.
So
You are.
how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. This is something that I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
And I'm really super excited about the channel in general. Like, we're pretty young and we have gotten a lot of support and we've been getting into the WhiskeyTube community. It's just been such a cool thing to have the support that we've gotten. We really appreciate you guys. If it weren't for you watching, we would just be hanging out in our kitchen drinking whiskey.
Talking to nobody.
Which is what we would do anyways. But you're along for the ride now, and I am personally really loving that.
Yeah.
I know you're really loving that.
It's been fun, yeah.
The whole thing has been a blast, and I'm doing great. And this is actually a video topic that I'm super interested in. I've never tasted whiskey for smoothness, and here lately... You
typically don't drink for smoothness.
Yeah.
Ever.
I tend to like really high proof,
Yeah.
really flavorful, impactful pours.
Mm-hmm.
You tend to like easy sippers, but you don't necessarily care if they're smooth. You don't want them to be completely boring
That's
either.
true, yeah.
But before we get too much into the weeds, we've got our warm-up pour here. We are doing a quick sip of the new Evan Williams 1783 small batch. So the old Evan Williams 1783 was a fantastic value pour, 86 proof, maybe 86.6, one of those two. They've bumped it up to 90 proof. They've taken the bottle from looking like something that should be just thrown directly in the garbage can, and they've made it look much nicer. And it's a good looking product now.
Yeah.
And we bought this for $12.99.
Which is awesome.
That's stunning. This is alleged to have 6 to 8 year bourbon in it from the Heaven Hill Distillery.
I can't believe that. You can get that for $12.99.
Yeah.
6 to 8 year bourbon.
This is a potential value king now at 90 proof to go head to head with things like Buffalo Trace, Elijah Craig, all the other small batch products that sit around a price point of $30.
Which still isn't bad.
It's not bad, but I've heard this is supposed to be $20, but all the stores in our area are selling it for about $13 or $14.
Which is awesome.
We paid $12.99. I mean, on the nose, you just get a lot of sweetness.
Yeah, I did just eat a cheese stick, so it's smelling a little funky at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the classic bourbon flavors you'd get on the nose: caramel, apple, vanilla. It actually does smell really deep and rich. And
it does smell deep.
We have gotten into this bottle just yesterday for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, at least yesterday, what hit me as its star attribute was the nose. There are some things to unpack there. and it is quite pleasant on the nose.
Yeah, it's got a lot of smell. Like you feel like it's gonna have a lot of flavor.
It smells rich.
When you smell it.
It smells rich.
Okay.
Let's get into the taste.
It's warm.
Ooh, yeah.
But it's not like hot.
Based on the nose, you would just expect it to be sweet and kind of creamy, but on the palate, you get a lot more spice on the mid palate. Kind of a cinnamon spice is what I'm getting.
It's very lightly cinnamon.
Yeah, it's not a heavy cinnamon, but I can take a drink of this and I can think about Big Red Gum, and I can get that on the mid palate. The flavor profile on this is really nice for a $12-13 pour.
This gets
not
a thumbs
pour.
up.
I'm sorry, a $12 or $13 bottle.
This gets a thumbs up for me.
It's hard for this not to get a thumbs up at $13 unless it's absolutely awful.
This gets a thumbs up.
That's it for this. Let's get into our main topic.
Okay.
So let's clear this stuff to the side. And the way we're going to do this is the way we do a lot of our blind head-to-heads. We want to see what the smoothest, best bourbon is for this kind of gift bottle price point.
Yep.
So what we've done is we have poured sample jars of the 5 bottles in question.
So we know that which 5 bottles there are, but we don't know which bottle is in which sample jar.
Right. You'll grab me a Glen. I'll start pouring these for us.
Okay.
Or 2 Glens rather. So this is the way a lot of our blind head-to-heads go, where we pour stuff in sample jars, and then that way we can mix them up and pour them out not knowing what we're drinking. So what we'll do is we'll pour these just like this. We'll keep them off camera. So that's 1 for me, 1 for you. Let's go in the glass 2. It doesn't matter the order necessarily. We're going to go through these front to back, back to front. We're going to take some time to A/B compare these.
It doesn't matter the order in which we pair them, but once we put them in an order, we need to keep them in that order.
Right, exactly. So, and as a matter of fact, just to keep things on the up and up and screen. That's 1, that's 2. Let's go to 3. And the reason I think this is interesting, you know, I have purposely been asking people that I know are fans of whiskey and bourbon. I've been asking them, you know, tell me the top 3 things you're looking for in a bottle of whiskey that you consider to be good. When you think about your favorite whiskeys, what is it about them that strikes you as being good? The number 1 answer that every non-whiskey nerd has given me is smooth.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, because you want it to be enjoyable, and if it's not smooth, a lot of times I think that's equated to not enjoyable, at least at the beginning, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure you can speak to this, but like, what was your experience with whiskey 5 years ago?
I was just drinking it in old fashions.
Yeah.
And then
when you did start drinking it neat, what was your number 1 priority?
Probably smooth. It was probably smoothness, but I called it easy sipping.
Yeah.
That was how I phrased it, but I was looking for something that was smooth that I could drink without getting blown, you know, my hair blown back or coughing or anything like that.
When I first started sipping stuff neat, for me, the biggest thing was I didn't mind a lot of flavor, but I definitely didn't like it when I just felt like the pour had completely assaulted me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I don't like that either.
We had a very similar trajectory, as I'm sure most people do.
Yeah.
You know, we started with cocktails, kind of graduated, or mixers, kind of graduated to on ice, and then you work your way into trying things neat. This is going to be a really interesting thing. Like I said, we're tasting through here to see what's the smoothest. Not our preference, but what's the smoothest, because we want to tell you guys what has the least amount of burn, what's the easiest sipping. Let's get into glass 1. Wow, that is super sweet.
It smells like a great popsicle.
It does. Let's get into the flavor, because most people who are not heavy into whiskey don't spend a lot of time nosing their bourbons. So let's get right into it. Is it smooth or not?
I don't know if it is or not. I need to compare it with the others.
I would say on the smoothness factor, I'd say just okay on that one.
It's got some fizziness
just
to
that
it.
First brash. Like there's a swelling oak on the back end of the palate that I think that someone who's not big into whiskey could interpret as being a little bit brash.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
okay, let's
smoothness
do glass
factor,
2.
just okay. Let's go into glass 2. We're just going to roll right through. Oh, okay.
Smells earthy. I like it already.
That is way smoother than glass 1.
I think this is way smoother
That
than
is
glass
way
1.
smoother. If glass 1 has that swelling oak on the back of the palate, Glass 2 is just straight up like velvet.
Yeah.
It's
smooth.
or not velvet. Velvet's heavy. That's like silk. It just rolls over the palate like really silky.
It's like organic silk because it kind of has an earthiness to it.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about that.
It's
All
one
right.
with nature. Okay.
We're just rolling.
Glass
We're going
3.
first impressions.
Let's do it.
Glass 3. Wow.
It smells sweet as sweet.
This has got the
can
best
be.
nose so far.
You would like it.
Super sweet.
It smells like a candy bar.
I don't even, not
like
candy bar.
No, not like a chocolate bar. Like it smells like an Airhead. Like just
Yeah,
sweet,
it smells
just
like an Airhead.
Straight up sugar.
Ooh, it smells so good.
It was pretty smooth.
So that is smoother than Glass 1, but it's got more flavor than Glass 2. It's not as smooth as Glass 2, but it's got more flavor.
I'm going to have to A/B compare Glass 2 and 3 again in a minute after we go through them all.
All right, let's go into Glass 4. We're just rolling, guys. Because people who aren't big into whiskey, they don't spend a lot of time trying to discern things. They take a first sip, it hits them like it hits them, and they form their opinions based on that.
Oh, that's not smooth at all. It tastes good, but it's not smooth. You would like this, I think. Well, maybe not. It might not be sweet enough for you.
That is definitely not smooth.
Mm-mm.
That is the least smooth
It
far.
has good flavor.
That is the
but
least
not
smooth so far.
At all.
It's got a spicy finish.
Mm-hmm.
Glass 1 had that swelling oak on the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Glass 4 has like a peppery note on the finish, like a black pepper that just lingers and kind of pops like Pop Rocks.
Yeah.
Not smooth. Pop Rocks aren't smooth.
It's good though, but not smooth.
It is good. Let's go into Glass 5. Ooh, not getting a lot on the nose here.
Mm-mm. Oh, that's not smooth. Or maybe I just drank it wrong.
I think you drank it wrong. I think it went down a weird way for you.
Yeah,
because that is pretty smooth.
Let me try that one again.
Let's take some time. Let's make sure we're doing our due diligence here. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back with our results. If someone asked me, what is the smoothest bourbon? What is the best gift that I could get for someone they may not buy for themselves? I'm going to say what's ever in Glass 2.
Glass 2. Because it's a smooth, sipping, safe bet that I think anyone can enjoy.
Yeah.
Glass 3 is also really good. And I suggest if you know someone's palate is a little bit, like you kind of know someone's palate, maybe whatever is Glass 3, you could get that as well. Like if you kind of know that they like whiskey.
I would argue that Glass 3, if you're giving it to someone who isn't just a casual fan of bourbon and maybe only has cocktails, if you know somebody sips neat from time to time, I would defer to Glass 3 over Glass 2 because the flavors in Glass 3 are so much more rich.
They're richer, yeah.
They're sweeter. It's sweeter.
But it's still smooth.
Yeah, it is still smooth. It takes everything that Glass 2 does and it jacks it up a notch and it tastes better.
Final score.
Man. Okay, in the smoothness department, I think you and I are on the same page.
Okay, so last place. In 5th place, coming in 5th place, is Glass 4. Let's find out what Glass 4 is. Okay.
Glass 4, Bardstown Fusion, and this is the number 4. This is Bardstown Fusion number 4.
Okay, so that's a very limited bottle.
Not so much limited, it has wide distribution, but they're out to batch 5 now. And by the time this video airs, batch 5 should be in all markets, and they're going to keep on releasing more and more. It's the highest proof bourbon in this bunch, 94.9 proof, I think.
Okay.
But you can see that in the description below. No surprise, if you would have asked me, not tasting side by side, I would have said that Bardstown Fusion would be the least smooth of these 5 bottles.
And it was.
Flavor-wise, I think Glass 3 and Glass 4 are my front runners as far as preference, but we'll get into that later. Let's roll on with the smoothness train.
I forgot we were doing that part.
We'll do that after the fact. Okay. Let's go on with our smoothness train.
Okay.
4th place. Are you on the smoothness train?
I'm on that train.
Come on, ride it. So, 4th place, we both agreed that
Glass 1
was 4th place. Mm-hmm. So, Glass 1.
What's Glass 1?
I think it's Blanton's.
Blanton's.
Wow. Blanton's finishes 4th place in the smoothness contest.
Smoothness, yep.
Wow.
I mean, it is what it is.
It's got a horse on the top of it.
And we agree, which doesn't happen very often. So I feel like that's saying something.
Blanton's is cool if you like horses and hype, but you know, it's a good bourbon.
I like Blanton.
That swelling oak flavor and that great popsicle note are really nice, at least on this particular bottle. It's a single barrel, so they can differ, but it's good.
Yep.
Let's go on to glass.
Third place.
5.
Glass
we
5.
agree. We agree on all of these,
Yep.
which is
So,
rare for us to agree.
Yeah.
But when you're agreeing on smoothness, this should show you that, like, this isn't preferences. This is literally how it's hitting your palate. Yep. So glass 5 is Blade and Bow.
Blade and Bow.
Wow, I'm surprised at that. Oh my goodness. That means Angel's Envy and Basil Hayden's are the 1 and 2.
Which those are pretty inexpensive, aren't they?
Basil Hayden's is around $40. Angel's Envy is around $50.
Okay. Let's find out.
I would not have thought they would be the first 2. Wow.
Okay. So in second place, coming in at second place is
glass 3.
Angel's Envy. So that means in first place as the smoothest bourbon ever in the history of all time is Basil Hayden.
So let it be written.
It is so.
So let it be done. I mean, we have, this is as literally as scientific as it possibly gets.
The most scientific.
This is the most scientific. You saw how fast we tasted them. We're literally just going off on whether it's smooth or not.
It's gut instinct.
This is actually really interesting because this affirms what I keep telling people.
Which is what?
That if you're getting into bourbon and you want to try something neat, you need to go buy a bottle of Basil Hayden.
There you go. All right, that's it for our main topic. Let's get into other stuff. What's our other stuff?
So our other stuff tonight is Netflix, The Highwaymen.
Yeah.
It's a movie, a little long, 2 hours, 12 minutes. Did you feel like it dragged at all?
Maybe a slight bit, but I didn't mind it.
I liked it. So let's not bury the lead here. It's about Bonnie and Clyde.
Yep.
I mean, so much so that you were on your phone looking at the story. It seemed it was interesting enough that you were wanting to look up facts about it.
It was interesting.
And then you ended up spoiling the movie for both of us.
Yeah, well, because
you can't just be there and let it happen.
Well, it's like you hear about Bonnie and Clyde and you're like, oh yeah, I know about that. But like,
you've heard the names.
You've heard the names.
But how much do you really know?
Oh, I didn't really know what happened. So I was looking up on Wikipedia and it kind of told me the ending. And then the movie was kind of like, wah wah. But had I actually known history, then it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But that being said, the movie itself is really good. It's got Kevin Costner, Woody Harrelson.
Oh man, you tell me something's got Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson in it, sign me up.
That duo was really good. It was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
So it's worth a watch. That was recommended to us from a friend. So thank you, Miles, for the rec.
Would you say that like True Detective season 1, it had like shades of that?
Yeah.
Not as dark.
Not as dark.
Not nearly as dark. Not nearly as twisty.
Yeah. But it had hints of like True Detective season 1.
Yeah.
Definitely season 1, not season 2.
It's definitely an enjoyable watch. Look, 2 hours and 12 minutes of our time, like we're not wasting that on anything if we can help it. And we're telling you guys it's worth watching if you like that kind of drama, suspense type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really well done. I multiple times remarked on the cinematography of it.
Yeah.
It was really well shot.
I liked the chemistry between Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Like their characters are like partners in the movie, like Texas Rangers, like they're partners. And it's it's just cool. I liked it.
It's not as good as the chemistry between Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson in True Detective.
That's true.
But that could be just because we both really like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you haven't noticed already, we're a channel about conversation, connection, and community, disguised as a whiskey channel. But whiskey is just what brings us together. This video is just the beginning of the conversation. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
If you want to support the channel and be part of the community, we're not really on social media, but we are over on our Patreon platform. So that's where we are interacting with people. We're young but growing. Let's build it up. We're doing behind the scenes. We're doing all kinds of stuff. So that's where that's at. If you want to join in and support the channel, that's an awesome place to do so. If you want to catch our upcoming live stream, check the description below. We've got the dates and times down there. We're live streaming once a month, interacting with the community, having a lot of fun. We try to set up a theme with each live stream that we're kind of doing. So we try to keep it fun. We try to keep it light.
Yep.
It's a good time. It's like happy hour virtually.
If you liked today's video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you want to keep seeing content from us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and even the notification bell to be notified when we post videos.
Don't forget the bell. Till next week, guys.
Cheers.